Good evening. Welcome to the National News Broadcast. I'm Kasani Balachandra.
A very good evening to you. I'm Dishan Veerakon, and now let's take a look at the top stories for tonight.
Two persons killed and 50 injured in an accident at Naula. The Premier says the government's attempts to grant many concessions to the public were thwarted by the opposition. The body of an abducted police constable found in a bush area in Pannala. A risk of seawater mingling with the waters of the Kalani River has been observed.
Moving on to those and other stories in detail. An accident that occurred in the Naula-Nalanda area along the Mathale-Dambulla main road has resulted in 2 deaths, whilst 50 people have sustained injuries. The accident, which involved the collision of 3 vehicles, occurred at around 7 a.m. today. A bus which was carrying devotees on a Sri Pada pilgrimage when attempting to overtake a lorry collided head-on with another bus coming from the opposite direction, and the lorry also collided with the bus. The bus that was carrying 40 passengers was en route to Sri Pada from Dambulla, whilst the lorry was plying from Trincomalee to Muskelia. The passenger bus that came from the opposite direction was commuting between Kandy and Batiklo. The casualties who sustained injuries are undergoing treatment at the Nalanda, Mathale and Dambulla hospitals. The 2 deaths were reported from the bus that was heading for Sri Pada, and the deceased individuals are a 12-year-old student and a woman aged 50 from Yapagama, Dambulla. Our correspondent states the condition of 7 injured passengers is serious and they are undergoing treatment at the intensive care unit of the Mathale hospital. 10 passengers who underwent treatment have been discharged. The cause of the accident is suspected to be the reckless driving of the bus drivers. The driver of the lorry has been taken into custody and the Naula police are conducting further investigations.
Now, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa says the efforts taken by the government to grant many concessions to the people before the Sinhala New Year was thwarted in Parliament by the opposition yesterday. The Premier says it is disappointing to see the opposition functioning in this manner, targeting the elections. The Premier expressed these views joining in the National Federation of Grama Niladaris held at the upcoming Arts Association Hall in Kandy. Grama Niladaris representing the entire island participated in the federation for the first time. The Premier stated the constitution on Grama Niladari services will be tabled before the Cabinet of Ministers and approved soon. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa said they hope to implement within these few days the promises given covering the next 5 years. He stated yesterday what was brought before Parliament was a proposal to pay the loans obtained by the previous government. Prime Minister Rajapaksa said after paying the dues to the respective companies, the intention was to pay employees so that they can enjoy the Sinhala New Year with their families. However, the opposition thwarted the move. The Premier said more experienced politicians can be found in the ruling party as opposed to the opposition. The Premier alleged that by the spitefulness of the opposition, the opportunity to grant some monies for the labour force to celebrate the Sinhala New Year was lost.
අපි මේක ඉදිරිපත් කරේ නැහැ. ඉදිරිපත් කරේ නැතුව මැතිවරණේ යාළුවගේ අර මානසික තෘප්තිය ලබන්න අපි ඊට තිබුවේ නැහැ. මොකද ඒකෙන් උනේ මොකක්ද? ගමේ දුප්පත් අර වැඩ කරපු කම්කරුවන්ට උන්ගේ සිංහල අලුත් අවුරුද්ද කණ්ඩ කීයක් හරි දරුවන් එක්ක අලුත් ඇඳුමක් ඇඳ ගන්න තිබිච්ච අවස්ථාවක් විපක්ෂයේ තියෙන කුහකකම නිසා ඒක වැළකුණා.
A number of Grama Niladaris, including the Grama Niladari who provided tip-offs to the police with regard to the Saindamarudu bomb attack, received accolades from the President. Meanwhile, the new building constructed for the Harispatwa Divisional Secretariat at a cost of 80 million rupees was declared open by Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. 50 million rupees from the Puranaguma project and 30 million rupees from the revenue of the Divisional Secretariat was spent on the construction of the new building, which is fully equipped with the required facilities which will benefit the people of the area. The ceremony was organized by the chairman of the Harispatwa Divisional Secretariat, Ananda Jayalal. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa said the government officials who execute given instructions need to be protected. The Premier further stated, though of new constitution, they hope to take steps to prevent legal action from being instituted against actions actions taken by public officials with a good motive. The Premier says if this move is not taken, the public official will be scared to work, fearing that another government could come to power through trickery.
The body of the police constable who was abducted while serving attached to the Kadavada police station was found today. An individual suspected of being connected with the murder of the police constable has been taken into custody. The police constable R.G. Jayaratna, who was attached to the Kadavada police station, was abducted 5 days ago in the Kiribatgod area. His body was discovered in a bush area in the Lakvila Bulugahavatta area in Pannala this morning. A 3-wheeler suspected to have been deployed in the abduction was also seized. The police suspect that the police constable was murdered. The deceased constable is a resident of Kudapipila, aged 37, and is a father of 2. The Kalaniya Crimes Division is carrying out further investigations.
Now the first and second phases of the Mathura to Barawak Kumukha stretch of the Southern Expressway will be vested with the public on the 23rd of this month. With the inauguration of this stretch, a highway network comes into operation which connects the Bandaranaike International Airport in Katunayaka and the Mattala Rajapaksha International Airport. Thereby, the current Nilwala entry point to the expressway at Godagama in Mathura will be changed as the Godagama Palatua interchange from the 23rd of this month. A 30-kilometer stretch from this point was constructed up to Beliyatta under the first phase. After the Godagama Palatua interchange, the Aparaka interchange was constructed to facilitate access to the Kakanadura and Yatiyana areas in Mathura. The first phase of the extended highway stretch runs through a number of economically sensitive zones. As the valley of the Nilwala River and the Kiruvakale area gets inundated during the rains, the highway stretch has been constructed on pillars without aggravating the situation. The bridge constructed on pillars is more than 10 kilometers and is the longest bridge along this expressway. In addition to this area, the Dandenya Aparaka Forest Reserve is also an environmental zone rich in biodiversity. Therefore, steps were taken to plant 100 saplings for each tree that had to be cut down in the construction process of this stretch. Access to the Tangala and Valasmula areas is facilitated through the Beliyatta interchange. As the second phase, the 26-kilometer stretch from Beliyatta to Barawak Kumukha was constructed. This stretch consists of the Kasagala and Agunakolo Palassa interchanges. The Kasagala interchange facilitates access to the Ranna and Veerakati areas, whilst the Agunakolo Palassa interchange facilitates access to the Hungama and Middeni areas. The Barawak Kumukha interchange, which is the termination point of the second phase, facilitates easy access to the Amblipitia Nonagama main road. The extended stretch of the highway from Barawak Kumukha to Suryavava, Mattala and Hambantota, which were the third and the fourth phases, was declared open last year. With the opening of this stretch, the travel time from Makumbra Kotawa to Katharagama is minimized to 3.5 years.
Hindus throughout the world celebrate Mahasivaratri Day today. Special puja were held throughout today at covils dedicated to Lord Shiva to mark Mahashivaratri Day. During the Mahasivaratri period, devotees, after bathing and engaging in their day-to-day activities, commence fasting, as ancient archives detail the Punya Kalaya is attributed to Lord Shiva. According to Hinduism, devotees need to engage in meditation on Mahashivaratri with contemplation on Lord Shiva as he brings about good returns. Thereby, special puja will be held at the 5 covils dedicated to Lord Ishvara in Sri Lanka and the covils dedicated to Lord Shiva in India until tomorrow morning. Hindu devotees believe that fasting on Mahasivaratri brings about progress and protection and thereby joy to life.
Now, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa states, as the leader of the country, it is of immense pleasure to him to see all races dedicated towards the betterment of the motherland, giving prominence to inter-religious harmony as never before. The President expresses these sentiments in the felicitation message issued to mark Mahashivaratri Day.
The President states that he joins all Hindu devotees who are engaged in fasting to celebrate Mahashivaratri, which signifies the dispelling of the darkness of ignorance with the light of knowledge and understanding. The President notes religion brings mental relaxation and well-being for human beings who have to move forward in life, facing numerous challenges, obstacles and complexities. He further notes the country's Tamil brothers and sisters are also among the Sri Lankans who live with hope, believing in a new tomorrow. The President wishes that the soul of every human being be brightened by the light of the lamps lit on Mahashivaratri. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa states, the Hindu philosophy and its rituals and celebrations, which are handed down from a heritage of an honorable tradition, have been able to add color to the culture of the country by uniting with the Sri Lankan society. Issuing a message to mark Mahashivaratri Day, the Prime Minister says it is his belief that the preserved peace can be furthered in an honorable society that values patience and peace amidst a diverse culture of revered religions. The Premier further states all Sri Lankans should connect with each other with respect and trust, setting aside racial and religious differences.
Today is the International Mother Tongue Day. UNESCO marks International Mother Tongue Day this year under the theme Languages Sans Boundaries. A ceremony in this regard organized by the High Commission of Bangladesh and the Ministry of Education was held under the patronage of Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa at Independence Square this morning. At the event, prizes were awarded for the winners in the All-Island Essay, Art and Poetry competitions held for school children on an all-island basis. Sri Lanka marked International Mother Tongue Day under the theme Language for Unity. The objective of observing a language day is to enhance multilingual skills through diversity. The United Nations points out that out of around 6,000 languages, around 43% are becoming obsolete, and the UN notes a language dies every 2 weeks. The Bangladeshi High Commissioner to Sri Lanka, Minister Bandula Gunawardena, and Professor G.L. Pires attended the occasion at the Independence Square this morning.
Language is key. See, it is my firm conviction that at the root of some of the country's problems is the stratification of society. This is there in our schools and in our universities. Students are educated in completely separate streams. They do not have the opportunity of relating to each other. Not only their lectures, their tutorials, their seminars, but even their sports activities, their cultural lives are entirely separate. So if you have to address that, you must start young. And the High Commissioner tells me that he has very rightly chosen painting, poems and music, because those are media through which there can be universal expression without being tied down to the barriers of a particular language.
We rolled out a Sri Lanka-wide, island-wide creative arts competition. As you may see, there are 19 paintings here. All these are by Sri Lankan children. This is such a fitting tribute. Nothing could be more for the Mother Language Day. Now, why painting and arts? Because we have been saying that painting, like song, letters, is another language, a very profound language which tend to ignore, and which can actually unify us, where there's no borders, no lines, nothing. And it only enthuses us, it only excites us. The theme of this year, as we are observing, we said language for unity. Let's not harp in the past, or let's not harp in the fact that what could have been done, but let's try to show that what can be done, and through which actually how we can connect with our future generation, our posterity.
Mother language is the key medium we utilize to express our deepest thoughts and our own ideas that depict our unique cultural identity. On the other hand, the mother language is a vital factor that affects the multifaceted influences in cultural, religion, social, economic, political as well as the geographic aspects. It also plays a key role as the medium on instruction, education that help build personalities, eventually contributing towards building a nation. We should be well aware that the use of high-end technology devices in this globalized era is a threat for the sustainability of mother languages. We must make our efforts to protect and perceive its value by using it within as well as outside our motherlands. We should guide our younger generation to perceive our mother languages in the spirit of being a global citizen.
Meanwhile, parliamentarian Professor Ashu Marasinghe says there are MPs in the current parliament who have not addressed the House even once for a year over the past 4 years. Professor Marasinghe was speaking at a media briefing held at Sirikotha today. Professor Ashumara Singh has said Parliament gets adjourned the moment the lack of quorum is pointed out, when it is not possible to find 20 members in the Assembly. However, he points out the expense in this regard is calculated by the people who are observing the proceedings. Therefore, Professor Marasinghe calls on the voters to elect people's representatives who will remain in the chamber to debate on topics impacting the public and who are suitable with regard to the task of compiling policies. He notes there are parliamentarians who have never spoken a word for even 4 days of the past 4-year period, and there are parliamentarians who have not spoken on even a single day for a year. Professor Ashu Marasinghe points out such MPs are not needed in the House. Now, the outbreak of the new coronavirus, COVID-19, has impacted the global economy, with many economists now expecting a larger impact than the SARS outbreak in 2002 and 2003. The new coronavirus has lowered China's expectations in respect of gross domestic production growth to 4.5% in the first quarter of the year, which is a marked slowdown from the 6% growth recorded in the corresponding quarter of last year.
In this backdrop, the Economic Intelligence Unit of the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce ran a poll amongst its members to ascertain the business impact on Sri Lanka from the COVID-19 virus. 49% of the firms that participated in the survey stated that their businesses had been impacted by the COVID-19 outbreak. 40% of the survey respondents stated that they experienced a sales decline ranging between 0 to 20, 20 to 40, 40 to 60 or over 60% due to the impact of the outbreak. The disruption of supply chain and travel is the key concern that policymakers are trying to tackle. In this regard, 43% of the survey respondents expressed that there was a slowdown in imports from China, whilst 27% felt that there was no impact yet, but were expecting supply disruption in the next few weeks. 65% of the members stated that their organization's overseas travel for business purposes had been limited due to the COVID-19 situation. In this regard, members expressed that there were cancellations of prospective meetings and events in the Asian region. The overall impact on inbound and outbound travel was a key concern amongst the survey responders.
The State Minister of Environmental Affairs, Jayantha Samaravira, has instructed the relevant officials to expedite the construction work in the Aluthgama-Mathugama Agalawatta joint water project. The State Minister engaged in an observational visit of the site yesterday. Around 53,000 families in the Kalathura district are adversely affected due to seawater mingling with the waters of the Kaluganga. The situation was given attention over Rupavahini News on the 18th of this month. The Aluthgama-Mathugama Agalawatta joint water project will immensely benefit the affected residents. During the observational visit, the State Minister instructed the officials and the engineers of the construction company to expedite construction work and complete the project soon.
Meanwhile, senior official at the Ambatale water purification plant, Mrs. Anomaji Herath, says the risk of seawater mingling with the waters of the Kalani River has been observed. She notes the situation may pose a difficulty in supplying clean water. The Kalani River is the 4th longest river in the country, which is 145 kilometers long, reaching the sea at Modara. The waters of the Kalani River, after being purified at the Ambatale water purification plant, are released to Colombo and the suburban areas in a capacity of 550,000 cubic meters per day. The officials at the Ambatale water purification plant observe the risk of seawater mixing with the waters of the river. These officials, together with officials of the Foundation for the Conservation of the Waters of the Kalani River, conducted an observational visit of the Ambatale water purification plant today. As an improvised strategy to prevent salt water from getting mixed with the river water, a bund put together with sandbags had been assembled. The officials point out if sand mining in the river bed continues, it will be difficult to prevent seawater mingling with the waters of the Kalani River.
The government is focused on upgrading the Homagama Base Hospital into a national hospital. The Homagama Base Hospital, at which a large number of patients obtain treatment, is considered as a second-grade hospital. Minister Dr. Bandulu Gunawardena disclosed this objective joining in an observational visit at the Homagama Base Hospital, at which he inspected the ongoing construction work in the hospital premises and engaged in a discussion with the hospital officials. Minister Dr. Bandru Gunawardena said, parallel to the development that has taken place in the area, under the provision of free healthcare services, the objective is to develop this hospital into one of the main national hospitals between Ratnapura and Kalabovila.
Now that's a wrap of tonight's Primetime News. Until we meet again next time, do take care and good night.
Good night.